All right, we are live. We already got 3 people in here. That's what's up. I need to wipe the screen. Ndewo to everybody. Ndewo. Let's see who's all here. Got a bunch of fuzzies on my shirt. Ndewo. All right, so is the chat on? Somebody say something so I can know if the chat is on. Should have done this before going live. All right, there we go. Now I'm presentable. Ndewo. I don't know if the chat is on, y'all. Ndewo. Hold on 1 second. Let me fix something. All right, JD Bailey, thank you. Ndewo. Ndewo. I got a whole bunch of little cloth particles on me, so pardon me while I fix my face. Ndewo. All right, Mike says hello. Ndewo, everybody. All right, guys, what's the number for today? Are we doing 15 or are we doing 10? Are we doing 15 or are we doing 10? I'm trying to get comfortable. What's going on? Okay, JD Bailey says 10. Once we get 10 people in here, we're going to go ahead and get started. Udo. Let me hit the... Give me just a second. I got to post this in the group chat. All right, so all right, we have 10 people in here. You said that was very quick. I think we should have went for 15, but it's whatever. All right, so let me go ahead and begin, okay? Okikekerua. Ala boala. Ala ne mmadụ na ne mmụọ. Ala na-enye ndụ. Ala na-enye nke ọma dị n'ụwa. Nne mara mma. Nne dị mma. Nne bụ ụwa. Ụmụ gị abịala. Ọ bụ obiọma ka m ji na-ekele ụmụ Eke, Orie, Afọ na Nkwọ, ụmụ mbụ na ụmụ ndị Egede, ndị mmadụ na ndị mmụọ, ndị na-eme na mmụọ otu anyị na-eme na mmadụ, ka anyị ji obiọma na-ekele ụnụ. Ọwụ obiọma ka anyị ji na-ekele ụmụ ajaana na ụmụ kpakpando eluigwe, mana ije anyị na-aga bụ ije Chineke kere ka anyị gaa n'ụwa. Enwere ihe ga-emezi anyị ga-emeri, anyị ga-eto, anyị ga-eri, anyị ga-agọta akụ na ụba dị n'ụwa, akọ na uche dị n'ụwa, nta n'imo dị n'ụwa. Otu a ka ọ ga-adị na Eke, Orie na Afọ na Nkwọ ise. All right. Hey, Siberia, thank you very much for the donation, for the super chat. Okay. Happy Father's Day question. Uzo Igwe, Sky, Igbo Zodiac, and Uzo Iti, Water Pathways. What can you tell us about these two cosmic cum solar paths? Reference, after God is Dibia. Sun crosses Tropic of Cancer, June 21st. Full moon. Okay. All right, let me try to get this. Uzo Igwe, the pathway of Igwe. Uzo Iti, the pathway of water. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what to say about them, you know. But I don't know anything about an Igbo zodiac or anything that references a zodiac in Igbo culture at all. So if there is one that is new to me, I've looked into it because people have asked, and I've not found an answer. So I don't know. You may need to share what the book itself says about the two zodiacs. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know too much about a zodiac. So but you said what those words mean. Uzo Igwe, pathway of the sky of Igwe, and Uzo Iti, the pathway of water. So, but I couldn't tell you what they mean as far as zodiacs go. I don't. I never heard that shit in my life. Mike says, "How do I build willpower and self control?" This is a very good question, and there's a lot of answers. I'm trying to think of the best answer for you. You build willpower and self control. Okay, Mike, I think you and I discussed the concept of Ikenga last because Ikenga relates to willpower, Ikenga relates to self control. Um, if I believe as a person, you have to, as a man, you have to lead with your Ikenga force above everything else. Your Ikenga force is your right of correction. Your Ikenga force is what gives you the ability to say, though I'm feeling this way, I need to do this. I need to keep my eye on the mission. Though I want to do this, I need to do that. And then you go and do that. Your Ikenga is the power that your chi gives you to do what your chi brought you to do. I would first begin by assessing what you're doing as a person, right? What are you doing as a person? Are you going against your grain? If oftentimes there's a lot of how do I explain this? Oftentimes there's a lot of things that influence us to so that now we by nature or by habit, let me call it by habit, go against our grain. So we do things that we don't want to do as a person. We do things that don't reward us or enrich us as people, and we're stuck with them. And so then comes the need to develop willpower to build yourself out of it, right? To pull yourself out of it. Okay. So you start with building the capacity of the Ikenga power. The Ikenga power is built through self-denial, through the acceptance of self-denial, through the acceptance of discipline, through the acceptance of internal structure, right? Having an internal structure. So I'm going to do this no matter what I feel like. I'm going to do this thing and go for it and so on and so forth. But it's a big topic. You'd have to be more specific as to what you're building willpower towards. Um, it comes and it goes. It's not like you're always going to be uh, super willpowered out. Um, but yeah, just get in your masculine energy. Do you just study Odinani or other forms of thought, such as Kemetic, so you can compare the two? No, I've never studied Kemetic, but throughout life I've studied different things, and that I am where I am because of all the things that I have studied. Um, so I wouldn't be the best person to do a cross comparison with the Kemetic studies because I haven't looked too far into them. I only know what a lot of the members of our community, the village, have shared with me. Because we have a lot of people in the community who have studied Kemetic studies or looked into Kemetic studies, and where they cross compare things like that. There are things I see from like a layman, like as a regular person. There are things that I see that are pretty obvious, like Ankh, Awful, the correlation between the two of those. Um, a lot of the symbology is the same, feather to represent Ogu, right? And so forth. The Ankh looks like, oh, it's all false, the same thing. And then from what I understand about Odinani, I can tell you things. I can tell you things about Kemetic culture that I don't think the Egyptologists know, right? Like a mummy is an awful. A mummy is an awful. I have these little cloth particles all over me. I don't. A mummy is an awful, right? The way it's wrapped is like an awful. All those things are like awful, and so forth. So so yeah, I don't know if I can do the cross comparison like that. Do I need an Ikenga? No, the physical Ikenga doesn't matter. It helps, but it's not you don't need it to build willpower. You have to just understand what it is and actualize it. You have to understand what it is and actualize it, right? But again, it depends what are you trying to build willpower towards? What are you trying to build willpower towards? You don't need a physical Ikenga. When I say Ikenga, I don't mean the statue. I mean the concept. The statue helps. The statue helps, but if you don't understand the concept, the statue is just it's just a statue. What is it? You guys are coming with hard questions. You guys are coming with these hard ass questions today. What is the connection between Igbo martial arts and Odinani? Um, Odinani describes existence, so it's there. It's not like this is Igbo martial arts and this is Odinani. It's what is the Odinani of martial arts, right? What is the art Odinani of martial arts and so forth. Martial arts goes into a lot of what we're talking about. I think we need to have a discussion about the Ikenga. All right, I think we need to have a discussion about the Ikenga. Okay, so the martial arts relates to the Ikenga and fortification and so forth, right? That is what's going on as far as martial arts go. Is Ikenga, it's fortification, it is the will, the will being in control, the will mastering the body, the will being the driver. And then from there, in all arts, in all martial arts, be it in war, be it in hand-to-hand combat, the goal is to break the will of the opponent, right? Is to break the will of the opponent. So the martial arts, as far as the Ikenga goes, is not only about building the will, but it's also the capacity to break your opponent's will. This is why a lot of skilled martial artists, especially in the Eastern, like Asian arts, will tell you that you can win a battle before you even start. Right, you can win a battle before you even start, and that goes into breaking the person's will before it even happens, or reducing an individual's will to fight before a fight even breaks out. Then, if a fight breaks out, being able to triumph, being able to have your own will triumph, right? Being able to have your own will triumph. A big part of what makes the Ikenga work is selflessness. So the ability to okay, so let's say now you are gifted in a certain way, or maybe you don't know. Everybody's gifted, but maybe you don't know what your gifts are. But if you are thinking about your gifts as to how they serve you, your willpower will not be that strong. Your capacity to utilize your Ikenga will not be that strong. Everything your chi gives you in service of the people around you. Whatever is abundant in your cup is to be poured into the cups of others. So if it is a matter, if you come into the world as a man, you have more of that particular thing called Ikenga than the average, or not the average person, than women and children. Right, and so it's not so much that you need you to build your willpower, it's that the people around you need you to build your willpower. And once you understand this, once you lock into this, it becomes a less of an uphill fight to do that, right? If you are in the world of self-satisfaction, if you're in the world of self-serving, or even if you're understanding these Odinani concepts from the standpoint of, okay, how do I get my thing? How do I get to my place? So on and so on and so forth, right? Think of it this way: something has been abundantly poured into your cup, and it is that you are supposed to share that with people who don't have as much of it, right? And as a man, the world needs you to be a man. Your community needs you to be a man. Your family needs you to be a man. The worst thing a man can be is not a man, right? The worst thing a man can be is not a man. You'll live a miserable ass life if you are not a man, right? So what does that entail? First of all, before you can actualize that in the world, you actualize that within the self. Um, are you under the control of your impulses, or are your impulses under the control of you, right? How do you then identify what is the animating spirit of those impulses? What are the animating spirit of those impulses? What does that spirit want from you? Right? What does that spirit want from you? Why won't it leave you alone? What's its deal with you? What are you doing to invite that spirit into existence? Study it. Study it before you attack it, right? Study it before you attack it. Because if we're talking about the Ikenga being willpower, right? Again, a battle of wills is a battle of who can break whose will first. It's not necessarily how to get yours to be strong. It's also how to get to be on the attack. In order for you to win that battle, you have to study and respect your enemy. You have to study and respect your enemy. So if you have a porn problem, you have to respect the spirit of that thing. You have to respect that enemy. If you have a cigarette problem, you have to respect that thing. And if you respect it, you will understand it's not just something you go, okay, I'm done, right? Okay, I'm done. Because if you respect it, you'll understand it from a standpoint of something that has power, something that is outside of you, something that occupies you to do its will in the world, right? Occupies you to do its will in the world. And then from there are many different ways you can separate yourself from the animating spirit that is causing you to do what you don't want to do or to be what you don't want to be. But ultimately, right? Ultimately, the ikenga is a tool for actualizing what the chi wants. And if it is not of your chi, the best thing to do is to return to your chi and understand your chi. From there, those things become easier to shed off, right? There are certain ways of behaving that I don't engage in around my altar when I first started, right? Around my altar, certain ways of behaving I wouldn't engage in, and then, or my sacred space. And then I would leave my sacred space and then I would go engage in whatever the hell it was, right? Until I realized, and maybe you have to organically come to this realization, that I am my altar, right? That's just a representation of me. I am that thing. So why would I treat my sacred space differently than I treat myself? And then once I started understanding myself as a sacred space, as something that was created with intention to actualize a reality, right? The concept of willpower became less of an uphill fight and more of more instinctive, more natural, right? More instinctive and more natural. So I would start with this. One of the best ways to do this is because, again, if you trace what I did, I built a connection with my chi. I gave it a place, which was an altar, and then I realized that altar was just a symbol. It wasn't like an actual. It was a symbol, right, of me. You understand? So the first thing is this: you have to build in that ikenga is fed by a relationship with the sacred, right? That ikenga is fed by a relationship with the sacred. You have to be able to regard something as sacred in order to build willpower. You have to have the ability to regard something as sacred in order to build willpower. It is very hard to get a Muslim to throw a Quran in the toilet. A moderate Muslim, a hardcore Muslim, um, and everybody in between. It is even one that grew up Muslim but isn't Muslim anymore. Tell them to throw a Quran in the toilet, they're never going to do it. Why? Because that Quran is what they use to access the sacred, and therefore they have developed a relationship with that thing. You understand? We people in Odinani people, right? Let's call them whatever Odinani people. We understand that the world is that, right? So the entire world itself is what that person regards the Quran as. But that Quran, all those different things, your alfa, your altar, all of your would be your sacred space. All of those things allow you to learn how to build a relationship with something sacred, to build a relationship with something sacred, to be able to go into your OB and make an oath and it's real, right? To be able to hold your offer and make an oath and it's real. To be able to speak and say something and it's real. Use those things, use the sacred, use your connection with the chi as a building block for learning how to regard something as sacred. Spend years learning how to regard something as sacred. Then once you're able to do that, the ability to access your willpower or to regard yourself as sacred and not desecrate yourself becomes a lot easier, or it becomes more instinctive, right? I can go into more details if you have more specifics on as far what that goes into, but it's all good. Now back to the martial arts question. This is the reason why the people who keep the martial arts in the Eastern traditions are the monks, right? The people who keep because the first step is learning how to regard something as sacred, right? The first step is learning how to regard something as sacred. I don't believe that the ikenga can be utilized if you do not have the capacity to relate with the sacred as sacred. You understand? I don't believe it can be utilized if you can't do that. So those of you who grew up in different religious traditions, great. That's a good start, right? Just being able to regard yourself the way you regard your Bible or your Quran growing up, being able to regard yourself the way you would regard like a grave site of a loved one, and then so forth. That's actually the building block. Being able to have the ability to relate with God, relate with Chuku, and it's real to you, and it's real, right? If it's like a pornography addiction, right? There are places you'll go to and you won't turn you're not accessing the hub, right? I mean, some people are too far gone, but you're not going on the hub at church, right? You're not going on the hub at your altar. You're not going on the hub while you're holding your offal, that kind of thing, right? That's the beginning. That is the beginning. So learn how to regard something as sacred is step one for me. Is what I guard as step one. And then over time, as that relationship with the sacred grows, your ability to break those habits. That's why a lot of these addiction programs, like anti-addiction programs, that's why they go to religion. That's why they go to religion. That's the appeal to heaven. That's what pulls you out of those things, right? That kind of thing. And so forth. It's also good in dating too. It's also good for dating. Oh, uh, do you just study? Okay, or yes, that's. Do I need Ikenga? You already have, but also, Mike, you already have Ikenga. It's not the statue, right? You already have an Ikenga. It's in you. You are it. It's in you, right? I hope I made sense. I have 4 siblings. 2 are twins. We were all born on the same day. Okay, cool. Do you have any insights on that? No, nothing particular. Just sounds like that just sounds really special, right? That sounds really good. And so it looks like there's a connection between your mother and that Ekede or Nechuku, and so forth. So give her thanks for giving for being a part of giving you guys life. But no, nothing too mystical about that. Is there another method for gaining ideas from ethers through technique like dreams and so forth? Is there a method to gain new ideas from ethers through a certain technique? I can say a lot about that, but I've already answered a lot of your questions, Mike. So let me go to somebody else. But ask it later. Ask it later. Adema. If men have more ikenga than everyone else, what qualities do women have? That's more than women have a quality known as omumu. OMU. Omumu. Omumu. This is the procreative manifesting power. This is the gateway power. This is the creative power. This is the ability to bring new things into creation, new people, new ideas, new concepts. The creative power. This is also the magnetic power, the ability to bring something towards you without using your physical force. The ability to make things happen for you without using your physical force. The manifesting power, right? The manifesting power. So the ikenga is motion, the omomo is stillness, and both actualize what is theirs. Both are able to actualize what they are supposed to actualize with those two types of power. Odema. Can you talk about female debias? What are they called? Do they do you know much about Dibiara? Yeah. So a female Dibia is an is and why. An is and why, right? A female Dibia is an is and why. Or it's a term that's used to refer to them anyways. But very much the same, similar to, it's the same thing as a Dibia, right? A male Dibia, is and why Dibia, they do the same things. There's really not that big of a difference. Some differences may orient around what they specialize in, because your specialty as a dibia is based on your interest, and as we know, women and men tend to gravitate towards different things. So a lot of is and why do a lot of like birthing work, right? A lot of birthing work, a lot of omomo work, and then I've noticed a lot more is and why are oriented towards water work. Like water is just what I've noticed. but I've not. It's never been declared, or it's not like a hardcore concrete thing. But there's don't let these observations be restrictions or anything like that. Whatever your gift is, it's usually based on you as an individual more so than your gender. But because the word debia implies man, the term is and why is used. But a lot of female debias are calling themselves debias too, so it's not a big deal. Female DBs. Do you know much about DBR? Yeah, I know a lot about DBR. I have a video. I don't even remember what the video's called, but it's like I think it's my most recent video, but I can't remember what I called it. Like maybe ARA explained or Igbo psychiatry or psychology. I know I wouldn't use a big word, so I think it's ARA. It's my most recent video. It's got like a woman in a red ichafu smiling, or not red, sorry, orange ichafu smiling, a head wrap, and yeah, I know a lot about them. DBR, yeah, some DBAs have the calling to do what we would call psychology, DBA work that pertains to mental health and the mind and so forth, behavioral and mental health. There's an extensive behavioral mental health tradition in Igbo culture that dates back. I mean, it's ancient, and then there's a lot there. So uh, a lot of it looks like what we would identify. A lot of it is very, very, very radically different, especially in the most key parts or the most essential parts. But I would check out that video I have called Ara Explained. If you have very specific questions about DBARA, I can answer that. But yeah, those are mental health DBAs that are called to do mental health work with people dealing with mental afflictions and so forth. It's interesting too. One of the things that I ran into when I was learning about that was the different diagnoses that Odinani has for mental health, and some of them again you can cross-reference it, like, oh, this sounds like this in Western mental health, but then some of them were very different. One of them, I can't remember what the name was, but it's this mental disorder where a person, oh, aramon, which means like it's like let's call it masquerade madness, right? Masquerade insanity, where a person will like walk very theatrically and very stiff, like in stiff theatrical movements, and then they're always trying to show you their power. So like they'll like randomly lift things, like they'll be obsessed with lifting things or show or like intimidating people, trying to intimidate you, but walking very theatrically, trying to intimidate people all the time, and this is identified as a mental illness. I found that really funny, because I was like, I can name a lot of people that I can name a lot of people that do that. But yeah, if you find somebody that's always trying to show you how powerful they are, to the point of it being a social issue, that walks in a very theatrical way, a very rigid or like a rhythmic kind of theatrical way, and all these different things, then, and oh yeah, I guess that's tied to it. Then yeah, they might have ara mal. So there's ara uke, which is a disorder based off of affiliation with groups, right? These are just little unique ones that I found. So araoke is a disorder based on an affiliation with a group. Either you lose your mind trying to belong to a group, or because you belong to that group, you lose your mind. And it just sounds like a person that's in a cult. Like when I was here, I was like, oh, this is cult behavior. Like this is like a person that's in a cult, and so forth. So Arauke is one. There's just all these really unique ones that like we don't really have a name for, right? I'm trying to think of some other ones. Araubo, which is like somebody who's like not ordinarily dumb, just all of a sudden just becomes like the wheel stop turning. Just trying to think of some other ones that were like unique. Um, some other ones that were unique. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them, but I listed a bunch in the video. So go to like ARA explained and see if you find something there. Adema, are you aware of any ploys or projects in place to further push or damn the Odinani doctrine throughout Africa and expel imported religions like Christianity and Islam? Any organizations maybe? honestly, Chronos, this is gonna sound like it's gonna be a boring answer, but I prefer quality over quantity. I prefer quality over quantity. I don't believe people should be coming to Odinani. First of all, I don't believe like I don't anyways, I don't believe people should be coming to Odinani because somebody like push them into it or convince them or whatever. I would rather somebody have the inspiration and come and find it, right? I come to find that a lot of if it gets too muddy, if it gets too muddy and the characters are not up to par that are participating in this tradition, um, it becomes worthless, right? It becomes worthless. And at that point, there's no reason to see it as something better than Christianity or Islam, because ultimately a big influx of Christians and a big influx of Muslims will just turn it into Christianity and Islam. Um, but if those people have a sincere inspiration to look this direction, it's better done that way, right? It's better done that way. The 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 idea at home is that you don't preach for spirits, right? You don't preach for spirits. That a good market sells itself. First of all, a good market sells itself. And then you don't preach or fight for spirits. You don't try to convince somebody to go and that kind of thing, because that's not really what's going on. That's not what we're doing. But it's a if we can get a strong 10%, it's not like talented 10, a strong 10%, I'm okay. I don't need all these extra weird these characters, because there's some. Let them go to church and be screaming and rolling on the ground and doing whatever they do over there, and all that stuff. you know I don't see the value of like some kind of mass conversion. I don't see the value at all. But here's what I'm doing. So this is what I've been working on the past 2 weeks, and I was going to announce it to you guys, but I'm glad you asked that question. While I'm not interested, I don't care about like converting people or like people like converting and shit. I do care about protecting the people who are already here, right? I do care about the people because by nature it's already happening. A lot of people in Africa are already looking towards their spiritual traditions, their indigenous traditions. They're not like Christianity is like the churches in my home state actually made an announcement about the alarming amount of young people that are turning away from the church and just going back to normal, right? It's already happening throughout Africa. It's already happening. And like Christianity doesn't ever go anywhere and stay, right? It dies off. Islam doesn't die off, but Christianity dies off, right? So like the whole West was Christian. Turkey used to be the capital of Christianity. But once you start reading books and shit, it's over. So 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 my intention is to protect the people that are already there. So I have a good friend who was a Dibia, who I strongly suspect it was somebody from the church had sent the military to beat him very recently. There are people who are traditional practitioners who, if they're caught praying outside, their landlords will evict them. And they have no legal protections and so forth, right? So while we don't fight for spirits, we do fight for people. What I'm actually working on right now is setting up a legal defense fund, okay? I'm going to make a formal announcement, but if you're interested, email me. I'm going to type my email. I'm going to try to type my email. I'm not going to type my email. So my email is DERICK ofod@gmail.com. What we're going to do, because it doesn't, like, for an American, it doesn't cost much to hire a lawyer in Nigeria, right? So we can have like a small fund of like $500, and we'll have, or more, I mean, like, to start with 500, and then we'll have a lawyer on retainer, And that lawyer on retainer will take up cases of religious, let's call it religious discrimination, that is common for Odinani or spiritual people. Because what's happening at home is, the reason I'm saying that we don't need to, like, I'm not really interested in evangelizing, is already people in waves are saying, yo, I've been lied to, yo, this is incorrect, right? This isn't like what I've been told was incorrect. I'm going to look over here. This makes more sense to me. This makes more sense to who I am. So it's already happening in masses. It's already happening in waves, right? This is not something that human beings are going to do it's going to happen by itself. It's already happening. But when people come over, there's going to be a fight for survival. So that fight, what's going on now is if people, Christians, catch you praying, they're going to call the police on you. They evict you. They refuse to rent apartments to you if you move to cities and stuff like that, and so forth. People who are DBAs will suffer constant defamation, constant, unrelenting defamation. As in, somebody will become a DBA, and then the church next door will dedicate their next 3 years to talking about that person. Very evil, wicked people. And so what we're going to do is set up a legal defense fund. There's going to be a lawyer on retainer. Anybody who is in, and I'm doing this even outside of Igbo land. Anybody who is enduring any type of attack from, it's always Christians, from Christians, but anybody else, as far as their spirituality and their beliefs, we're gonna fight for that person. We'll take the people to court. We'll attack them in the best way that we can, which is with the law and so forth. That fund is also going to be the foundation for teaching people, setting up centers where people can learn and understand and study Odinani. And be protected as well, right? And be protected as well. Because one of the things that happens is, if somebody, like, let's say you have a family and they adhere to like Odinani principles and things like that, and even if like the husband dies at like 75, the Christians will now start saying, oh, the wife, she's a witch, she did that to him. And now you have somebody who's a widow with children who like every church apparatus in her community tries to shut her down and make sure that she suffers, right? Sometimes vice versa, but it's more when the husband passes and the woman's alive. So I've come to realize that the next phase of my own mission is to protect the people that need my protection and that need our protection as a community. And I'm saying me because I'm going for this. So if you're with me, if you understand what I'm saying and you want to support, send me a DM, send me a message, send me an email. My email address is derickofod@gmail.com. First phase, I want to have a few smart lawyers on retainer, right? And it does not cost much in America, or like it doesn't cost much for us as Americans, right? If $20 a month can keep a lawyer on retainer at home, right? So I want to have a team of lawyers, or maybe one just Johnny Cochran, some bitch, Who's that new one? The Asian one. He's all over TikTok. They're saying they can get you out of anything. I don't know, but I want to have one, or like a team of them, right? And they're going to be available to take cases for free for people who are undergoing this type of discrimination. The main thing is this: if there are a few cases that are won, and they're easy to win, the reason that the cases don't come up is because people don't know their rights. People don't know that they have this option, right? People don't know that they have this option. And it's so, like, if you're an Odinani person, it's so normal that you don't even know that something extraordinary is happening to you. It's so normalized. It's just what it's like, that's them. That's the Christian people. That's what they do, right? They're just evil, wicked people, right? So I'm ready to start putting them behind bars. I'm ready to start suing them. I'm ready to start going for their institutions. We're taking them on we're going head on. Like I said, I'm going to start, of course, with my own culture, but I want this to be Africa-wide. It is easy to do. The reason it hasn't been done before is just because it hasn't been done before, right? It just hasn't been done before. But like I said, somebody very close to me had the military sent to his place, and he was beaten just for being a practitioner, right? just for being a practitioner. And the military sent to his place and he was beaten, right? Another person I know has had the police arrest them unprovoked. When I was doing my video, sometimes, and then sometimes I tell you guys things, and like I don't really elaborate how difficult the process was for making things happen. But when I was doing my video for Akaraka, right? I was made aware that what was going on was that the government was hunting down, literally hunting down traditional practitioners, specifically Dibias, right? They were looking for Dibias because there's an movement back home, the Biafra movement, and they think that anytime they get into like a gunfight with the Biafra people tend to win. So they think that the Dibias are fortifying them, which they might be. And they think the DBS are fortifying them and so they started just hunting down anybody that was a traditional practitioner, anybody that was a DBA. So I remember when I did my Akaraka video, my dad helped out a lot, and he went to this particular elder man in Owerri to ask questions about it because it's hard to find people that do Akaraka. And he went to this elder man in Owerri, and the guy was like, did like a full like, hey, who are you? What do you want? Because like also older men don't go to DBS. The older men don't go to DBS at home, back home. Older men don't go to DBS. It's usually women and young people, right? So, and it's not that the older men aren't traditional. It's just like they just don't, and there's nothing. It's not like a rule. It's just culturally, it's just like if you're dating somebody, the person gonna ask you about your zodiac is typically the girl, right? Or like that kind of thing. So the fact that it was an older man coming in, he was really, and then he explained that this is what's been going on. They've been arresting and interrogating people for it's like the damn Inquisition. But a lot of it is because people are waking up. So young people all over Africa are going back to their traditions, and the churches who are in cahoots with the politicians who are then in control of the military and the police are physically attacking the people that are visibly traditional. So I want anybody that I want any pastor that goes to church and says that this person is a witch. I want that person in court. I want anybody who says, oh, this woman, the reason her husband died is because anything bad that happens to, if you're like an Odinani person, if I'm like me now, if I get a flu, people are like, oh, let's go, right? Right? It's that kind of thing, right? And so, but it doesn't end there. I can laugh about it because I'm here, right? And that kind of thing. It doesn't end there for people at home that have to suffer this. So in order for this to survive, those who are already there have to be protected. So I want to start, I don't have a name for it yet or nothing. I just know I want to sue the dog shit out of all these Christian people. If we get a few strong, like 5 victories, because they're fearful, cowardly people, they'll back off. If we get, I promise you, 5 strong legal victories as cowardly people, they will back off. They tend to bully old women and young women. That's who they bully, because those 2 groups of people are vulnerable. That's who they bully, right? A Dibia my age, like a middle-ish, youngish man, they're not, I might hit you. So they're not gonna, they keep my mouth shut. They keep their mouth shut. But when they find young women, old men, they terrorize them. And then lately they've been going after young men, like young Dibias and so forth. They leave the old ones alone out of fear. And so they've been using, and they won't call the police because they're afraid of what you're capable of doing. They'll call the military, which in Nigeria is stupid, so you can do that. But they won't call the police because they think you'll like shoot lasers and make the police turn into lizards and shit. So so they'll call. So yeah, if you're hearing what I'm saying and this shit makes sense, message me, right? I don't care about converting people. I don't care about that shit. Quality over quantity. But for those who are already there, they need to be protected. Very specifically, the older women, the old women, period. The young and the old women, they're the ones that get attacked the most because people aren't afraid of them. They are vulnerable, right? that kind of thing. So, all right, that was my rants. If you're down with that, hit me up. All right, Mike, I think you're seeking inspiration. Okay. Dear user, you have to delete posts within. You have to take us seriously. I'm closing this post. Okay, YouTube mod, you're a very stupid human being. Check out the great to check the live again. One of the most fantastic shows on YouTube. Damn, thank you. Here I am thinking I'm just running my mouth. Ekene nwanne. Ekene nwanne. Dalu nwanne, dalu. Going back to normal. That yeah. I'm late. What are we talking about? We're talking about what we were last talking about. I'm sure you're caught up. But right now, what I'm working on is some type of organizational apparatus that goes after all of these useless pastors and church mothers that are always like basically a defense fund for Odinani people at home, right? A defense fund for Odinani people. Because one of the things too is a lot of knowledge gets lost because a lot of people are afraid to speak. They're afraid to speak because there is a sincere, now that a lot of people at home are going back to normal. Young people, specifically our generation, are saying, you know what, nah, I'm an African. What the fuck was I doing before? And they're going back to their traditional ways of life. Like before, my brother-in-law says this. My brother-in-law is a very wise guy. My brother-in-law says that if I were making my videos 15 years ago and I posted it on like Facebook or something like that, all of the comments would be about how I need to repent, I need to da 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 da. But if I ever post something like Facebook, whatever, 99.9% of the comments are positive. Oh, I've been studying this. I'm glad I ran into this. Oh, this is Iowa, that kind of thing, right? So now the culture in Africa at home, I'm going to say specifically Nigeria, has shifted in favor of African spirituality, whether it be Odinani, whether it be Ifa, all the different ones, right? It is shifting. There's a shift. So now the church people are using physical force to attack people. That's their next aim, is to use physical force, because they can't now condemn you. They can't say, oh, this person does blah, blah, blah. Stay away from them. That's ending. That era is ending, because the people you're saying it are curious about what that thing. So if you say it now, they'll go talk to that person like, hey, I heard you do blah, blah, blah. You know, what's that all about? They're curious. They want to know. They realize they've been lied to. There's been a big shift happening. I can go into what's causing that shift, but I've seen it, right? I've seen it. And so right now they're using physical force and defamation to try to stop us, right? So I'm putting together an organization. I just need a few strong board members. I don't want anybody come in there that doesn't know what the fuck they're doing or they're not serious. I want people that are ready to anyways, let me not say too much. But I want straight killers, bro. And we'll just form an organization. Maybe we'll talk once a year. It doesn't even have to be that deep, but we have to make sure that we have funds available so that anybody who's undergoing persecution because of their beliefs at home has adequate legal defense. We can later expand into physical security and things like that. But the legal, that legal part, because the people we're dealing with are so cowardly that if we have 5 strong, well-publicized cases that are won, they'll back off in a big way, right? Because their next play is to physically attack. So people are under physical attack, right? A good friend of mine who is a DBO was beaten by the military simply for his practices. Another person was arrested for absolutely no reason and interrogated, and I've been informed that they've been persecuting and hunting down traditional practitioners at home. So we have to 100% be ready for them. But the only reason these things are allowed to happen is because people don't know their rights on a legal level. So let us do what we're going to do on a legal level as Madon, and let Mo do what it's going to do on the level of Mo. Now, what's up? Ask your mom now.
I think she's gone.
No, she's not gone.
Where is she?
Check upstairs.
I don't think she is.
Check upstairs. I'm live. You know I can't do that.
Okay. Okay, I guess so.
All right. Hello. All right, we're back. Do you have family in Owerri? My mother has bought land there and will be retiring there. No, I don't have. Okay, yeah, no, let me take it back. I have family in Owerri, but I'm not from Owerri. So half of my village has already moved to Owerri. Half of my village has moved to Owerri. Um, but I have land there, like family land there. I personally haven't bought land. We have land in Owerri. I have a lot of people from my community and my town that live in. I know a lot of people in Owerri. I'm not too far. My town is not too far from Owerri, anyways. Right. My dad stays there part time. Whenever he gets tired of people in the village bothering, he goes to Owerri. So
She's up there, but she can't do it right now.
I'm interested in learning more about there because I've only been
Daddy,
to Lagos. Namdi.
she's up there, but she can't do it right now.
Poor, 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 poor.
Can you please?
Mba, poor. Thank you. I can't. You know I can't do that. Come on now. Close the door. All right. So what was I talking about? So no, Owerri is awesome. It's a lot of fun, very modern, very chill, a lot more chill than Lagos. It's great. Probably the best nightlife in Nigeria. Easily the best nightlife in Nigeria. It's a great place. I spent a lot of time there my last time in Nigeria. Owerri is fun. It's cool. If you like Lagos, you'll like it's if you like Lagos, you'll like Owerri. But Lagos is just kind of more chaotic and like high energy, and Owerri is more chill. So, Adem. I'll see if I can hit up sometime this week. I'm still kind of broke. Look, I'm not. It's not like we kind of come with thousands of dollars. You can get a lawyer on retainer in Nigeria for like $20 a month. So, like I said, people that are very, very, very serious. Right. I have a connection with Grand Igbo through voodoo tradition. I can't help but feel like it is. Okay, hold on. I have been connecting with Grand Igbo through voodoo tradition. That's dope. I can't help but feel like it is but an American manifestation of the Alosi Neago. Possibly. Are you familiar with Grand Igbo? What's your thoughts? I don't know if Grand Igbo is the same as the Igbo Loa in voodoo. I think it's the same thing. Yeah, you said voodoo, right? Yeah. Yeah, so it's interesting because I have a friend that's a practitioner, and he was talking about how a lot of people don't deal with the Igbo Loa because it has these specifics that they don't understand, and based on the understanding, like it doesn't eat with the other Loa. It has to be fed separately, and then there's a specific way you're supposed to feed it, but the person's it's hard to find people that know how. And then it clicked. I was like, oh, no, that's an inze, right? That's just an inze. That's a regular inze. So yeah, it's gonna eat separate, and then you open the communication with cola nuts with Aji. And if you don't have Aji, you say I don't have Aji, but blah 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 blah. So yeah, I think funny enough, I think I know a lot about it. I think I know a lot about it based off of just understanding the tradition, and so forth. But if what's being described to you sounds like Neagon, I would check out my video called Arobinagon Explained, because Neagon is Arobinagon, Arobinagon is og medicine, right? So I don't know enough about it to say why you're connecting it to Nago, but you know why you're saying what you're saying. So if you can share that, that'd be great, and we can elaborate on that. Ademma. Somebody said all smiles be in Nigeria. Yeah, yeah. Are you talking about the legal defense? Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be based in Nigeria. It's gonna be based in Nigeria. I just need a team of hitters, of just straight like lawyers, and so forth. So right now I'm trying to get the Avengers together to help sponsor it. I'll definitely be sponsoring the bulk of it, the greater bulk of it. But anybody that believes in what I'm saying and is serious about this, then I'm already going for it. So just come with me, right? We need as many hands as possible. Because it's becoming ridiculous. A lot of the people that I'm close to and I care about have been assaulted, arrested, and so forth, defamed. The defamation was normal. That was normal growing up. The defamation was normal, but it's becoming physical now. So we'll show them what's up. Yeah, they're being attacked in Nigeria. The attacks, yes, they're being attacked in Nigeria. Where else now? They're being attacked in Nigeria. You know, it's not everybody, but if some pastor starts getting jealous because nobody's showing up at church anymore because that's what's happening, then he'll pay a little money to the police and then it's on. You'll have an issue, right? You'll have an issue. Now you have to prove that you didn't do something, and then that person just said that they go about their day. So we're trying to balance the odds. We're trying to take them on. Are traditionally are traditional spirituality people outlawed in Nigeria? Um, yes and no. So, and the reason I say yes and no is because we have to call ourselves spiritual now because that's just the context that outsiders understand what's going on. But I'm just a normal Igbo person, right? So that aspect is not illegal, right? Me participating in my culture is not illegal per se, but random traditional stuff is. And if it's not illegal, they can just, the way Nigeria works, you just pay the police and they go beat somebody up. And then from there, I mean, whether or not you broke a law, it doesn't matter, right? But after the beating, you can still figure out who called the police on you, and then you have to be able to file a lawsuit, and enough lawsuits have to be filed so that people are deterred from doing what they're doing, right? Because they don't do police anymore, they're going straight to the military. They're hiring the military. So you can pay anybody in Nigeria to do anything stupid. And so while it's not illegal, you can pay the police to go beat somebody, or you can pay the military to go interrogate or harass somebody. And it's easier for the military are incentivized because they think that there's some political stuff going at home, and there's people that are fighting against the military, and they think that the DBS are what's making them able to fight. What's making them able to fight. Yeah. Do drugs, whether psychoactive, psychedelic, play a role in Odinani? Of course, overindulgence is wrong. But what about regulated use? No, I haven't. I honestly, I don't. I haven't seen too much use of psychedelics. I've actually never seen use of psychedelics at home. It doesn't mean it's against or for or whatever. I've never seen it. I've never seen it. I've never heard of it. Um, Again, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It doesn't mean that I know that there are different West African traditions where psychedelics do play a role, like Iboga from Central Africa, um, and so forth. So I'm sure it's there, but it's just not that. It's not that emphasized. It's not that preeminent. It's not a big thing. Yeah. So Njameze says no, they're not. Yes, that's the correct answer. They're not illegal, but somebody can still send the police at you. Somebody can still accuse you of just nonsense. Somebody can still, um, and then little random things like a lot of people at home don't know, but making palm wine is illegal. Making palm wine is illegal. A lot of people don't know at home, you know, but it's just not an enforced law and stuff like that. So the government itself is not friendly to practitioners, but it's not necessarily illegal because once you understand what I'm saying, you'll understand that I'm not talking about like a religion. It's just a being. Can you do a brief overview of an ézémois? Absolutely. So an ézémois, yes, Namdi, what's up?
Please, I don't feel so good.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that, but you know what I'm doing, right? Let's talk about it when we're done, okay? Hey, come here. Let's talk about it when we're done, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Are you sick?
Um, I was sick before, but now I'm not.
Okay, that's good. Go tell your mom. Is she sleeping?
She isn't sleeping. She's getting ready for work.
Okay, just go tell her that you're not feeling too good. I'll talk to you. I'll make this short, okay? And I'll go talk to you, okay?
Yeah, but she can't help me right now. She just said that.
Okay, I'll make this short. Don't worry.
Okay.
We're gonna have to wrap it up, y'all. Brief overview of an ézémois. Absolutely. So an ézémois is a specialist in communicating with a spirit, right? An Izemwa is a specialist in communicating with a particular spirit. The Izemwa is often the person who oversees a particular Arushi. An Arushi is a communication gateway with an Abara, which is a force, a spirit. Um, the term deity gets used, and so forth. So think of an Arashi like a Wi-Fi receiver. Think of an Abara like Wi-Fi, right? And so the Izemwa is the person who oversees that, who knows how to work it, who knows how to activate it, deactivate it, so on and so forth. They just specialize in that communication. And Izemwa can also specialize in Igomwa, which is entering a trance state, or which is the basis for things like astral projection, the basis for things like activating Abara, the basis for things like activating Mao, a masquerade, the basis for, communication with nature, elements of nature, beyond the five senses and so forth. And so that is an ism more. An ism more is just a master of more, a spiritual master, a spiritual expert, right? A spiritual expert. Some DBs are ism more, but not all DBs are ism more, if that makes sense, right? Some DBs are ism more, so not all deep, but not like, for example, now, like if you ask a lot of DBs about Abara, like different Abara, some of them, that's just, they don't know. That's not what they do, right? That's not what they do. You understand? That's not their expertise. That's not where their specialty is. But an ism more, that's what they do. An ism more, that's what they do. Ademma. Would putting governmental power in the hands of practitioners be the ultimate solution? Yes, and this is a starting step. Yes, and this is a starting step. And it doesn't even need to be practitioners, just educated people. If you have an educated governor, you don't have issues. Educated people tend not to have issues. It's always illiterates. Illiterates that have power by way of church. So illiterate pastors, illiterate priests, or not, the Catholic Church is usually okay because they usually require school. But it's when people are not educated. Once a person is educated and they get out of that spookism mentality, they tend not to be a problem, right? They tend not to be a problem. A lot of the advocates, the best advocates as far as Odinani goes, like Cardinal Arinze, he's a cardinal he lives in the Vatican and shit. But he's an advocate. He preserves a lot. He does a lot of academic work for preserving Odinani and so forth, right? But ultimately, yes, it would be having control of practitioner having control of the government. But we're going to start small. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Absolutely. We're absolutely going to get there. But we're going to start small. We're going to start small, which is a legal defense. Let's stop the attacks first. Or let's make the attacks less attractive. And then from there, we can build on it. So this is the foundation of something bigger. This is the foundation of something that can be replicated all over Africa. This is something that can be replicated even here in the U.S. Like traditions like Isusu. Isusu is like it's a tradition at home where people pool their money together. You pool your money together, then one person in the pool gets that money for, let's say, the month or for the year or whatever the period is for the moon and so forth. This is a tradition that was started by market women at home. So it's called Isusu. So this is illegal in a lot of states in the West. I don't know if you guys know, a lot of states in the US, it's illegal, right? We need to fight against that. That needs to be legal again because that's our traditional economics. That is our traditional that's the basis of our traditional means of banking and doing a lot of things. It's a part of our spiritual practice and so forth. So it doesn't make sense that it's illegal, right? But if you understand how America works, it makes sense that it's illegal. So if somebody wants to take up that case, that's a winnable case, right? It's a winnable case to find wherever it's illegal and go after that law and so forth, right? It's one of the things, it's good that everybody's waking up. It's good that everybody's waking up, but we now need to start putting our foot down in real time beyond ourselves and our own personal revelations and our own learnings and our own journey and our own personal growth. We need to put our foot down in real time because there's people that need it. There's people that need to be defended. There's people that need to be helped. There's people that are under attack, right? And they need to be protected. So that is the first step. This isn't an official declaration, by the way. Like, I'm already doing this, but I tend not to want to announce things to like by the time I announce it, there's nothing anybody can do. It's already rolling, and this is kind of where I'm at with this. But I'm still putting it together. Like I said, I don't have a name yet and so forth. But the past 2 weeks, I've been waiting for the name to come to me. I've been waiting for its symbols to come to me. I've been waiting for the spirit of it to come to this side. The spirit has already told me to move. I've been waiting for the details, but I'm moving. So if you're feeling what I'm feeling, let's go. Let's do this. Guys, it looks like the questions have ran out, and my son is saying he doesn't feel too well. So I will make this discussion short today. This has been me running my mouth, so I hope you've enjoyed it. All Smiles B says bye one day. But this one has been different because this is I did less teaching and more speaking. So yeah, if you're interested, hit me up. And I don't need like 100 people. I just need a few serious people. But that being said, best way to support the channel is on Patreon. Patreon.com/The Medicine Show. We have a group study in the morning. Tomorrow morning. And those are always fun. So if you're interested in joining our group study it's like a big Zoom call. We all discuss and share perspective and so forth. If you're interested in that, hop on now or join now. That being said, tomorrow class. Yeah, the group study's tomorrow. Yeah. Tomorrow it is, 10 a.m. Central Time. 10 a.m. Central Time. Okay? 10 a.m. Central Time. So whatever that is in your time, a link will pop up on Patreon once it starts. But yeah, we go in depth there. It's a really good discussion. And then of course the village is the village. I wouldn't trade this community for anybody. So that being said, uno gade, uno geto, unkobala uno tiriaka ogade noa. Ogade otwa neke, nurie, na fo, na nkwo. He said